Malcolm X, originally Malcolm Little and later known as El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, was a significant figure in the American civil rights movement. Born on May 19, 1925, he rose to prominence as an advocate for black empowerment and the advancement of Islam within the black community. Initially associated with the Nation of Islam until 1964, Malcolm X became renowned for his outspokenness and dedication to human rights. This video is split into 7 different sections, so make sure to watch each section until the very end. Part 1. A quick overview about Malcolm X. His early life was marked by challenges, including time in foster care and involvement in criminal activities, leading to a prison sentence for larceny and burglary in 1946. It was during his incarceration that he encountered the Nation of Islam and underwent a transformation, embracing the faith and adopting the surname X to signify his African heritage. As a prominent leader within the Nation of Islam, Malcolm X played a pivotal role in promoting black empowerment and advocating for the separation of black and white Americans. However, his views evolved over time, and he eventually distanced himself from the organization due to ideological differences. Following a pilgrimage to Mecca, Malcolm X embraced Sunni Islam and a more inclusive approach to the civil rights movement. He founded the Islamic Muslim Mosque Incorporated and the Pan-African Organization of Afro-American Unity to further his vision of racial equality. Tragically, Malcolm X's life was cut short when he was assassinated in New York City on February 21, 1965. Despite controversy surrounding his beliefs and methods, he remains a revered figure in African American and Muslim American communities for his unwavering commitment to racial justice. His legacy endures through commemorations such as Malcolm X Day and the renaming of streets and institutions in his honor, while the Audubon Ballroom, where he was assassinated, stands as a memorial to his enduring impact on American society. Part 2. The early years of Malcolm X. Malcolm Little, born on May 19, 1925, in Omaha, Nebraska, was the 4th child among 7 born to Louise Helen Little and Earl Little. Earl, a vocal Baptist lay speaker, and Louise, both followers of Marcus Garvey's Pan-African activism, instilled in their children a sense of self-reliance and black pride. Earl's involvement with the Universal Negro Improvement Association led to Ku Klux Klan threats, prompting the family to move to Milwaukee in 1926 and then to Lansing, Michigan, shortly thereafter. In Lansing, they faced harassment from the white supremacist group, the Black Legion, who Earl accused of burning down their home in 1929. Tragedy struck the family when Malcolm was only 6 years old. His father's death, officially deemed a streetcar accident, was believed by Louise to be the work of the Black Legion. This event, surrounded by rumors of white racist involvement, deeply affected Malcolm's childhood psyche. Following Earl's death, Louise struggled financially, relying on a meager life insurance benefit and renting out parts of her garden to make ends meet. In the midst of these hardships, the family encountered Seventh-day Adventists, whose kindness left a lasting impression on Malcolm. Despite their racial differences, Malcolm found them to be the friendliest white people he had encountered. However, the family faced further challenges when Louise experienced a nervous breakdown in late 1938, leading to her commitment to Kalamazoo State Hospital. The children were subsequently separated and placed in foster homes, with Malcolm and his siblings working tirelessly to secure their mother's release 24 years later. Malcolm's education was disrupted by these tumultuous events. Although he excelled academically in junior high, he dropped out of high school after a white teacher discouraged his aspiration to become a lawyer, asserting that such goals were unrealistic for a black man. This incident solidified Malcolm's belief that the white-dominated world offered no opportunities for ambitious black individuals. From the age of 14 to 21, Malcolm lived with his half-sister Ella Little Collins in Boston's predominantly African-American neighborhood, Roxbury, where he held various jobs. His move to New York City's Harlem in 1943 marked a turning point, as he became involved in illicit activities such as drug dealing, gambling, and robbery. Despite these criminal pursuits, Malcolm formed friendships within the community, including with future comedian Red Fox. During World War II, Malcolm avoided military service by feigning mental illness, expressing his desire to organize black soldiers and confront racial oppression in the South. His defiance led to his disqualification from military service. Subsequently, Malcolm returned to Boston and engaged in burglaries targeting wealthy white families. His criminal activities caught up with him in 1946 when he was arrested and sentenced to 6.5 years in prison for larceny and breaking and entering. Imprisoned at Charlestown State Prison and later Norfolk Prison Colony, Malcolm's time behind bars would prove transformative, setting the stage for his future as a prominent civil rights leader. Part 3. The Teachings of Malcolm X. During his tenure with the Nation of Islam from 1952 to 1964, Malcolm X fervently propagated its doctrines. These teachings espoused the beliefs that black people were the original inhabitants of the world, while white people were deemed devils whose demise was imminent. Louis E. Lomax argued that misinterpretation of biblical prophecy led to misconceptions of Malcolm X as a racist or purveyor of hate, rather than understanding his message within the nation's framework. Despite the civil rights movement's focus on ending African American disenfranchisement, the Nation of Islam prohibited its members from engaging in political processes, a stance that drew criticism from organizations like the NAACP. While the civil rights movement advocated for desegregation, Malcolm X called for the complete separation of African Americans from whites. He proposed repatriation to Africa for African Americans and, in the interim, the establishment of a separate nation within the United States for black people. Dismissing nonviolence as a viable strategy, he championed self-defense and self-advancement by any means necessary. His impassioned speeches resonated deeply with African American audiences, particularly those in northern and western cities, who felt disillusioned by the slow progress of the civil rights movement. Malcolm X's rhetoric captured their frustrations and articulated a demand for immediate action rather than continued patience. Part 4. The Sexual Misconduct of Elijah Muhammad. Allegations of sexual misconduct against Elijah Muhammad surfaced, suggesting he engaged in extramarital affairs with young secretaries within the nation, a serious breach of its teachings. Initially dismissed, these rumors gained credibility when Malcolm X spoke with Muhammad's son, Wallace, and the accusers themselves. Muhammad eventually admitted to the accusations in 1963, attempting to justify his actions by citing examples from biblical figures. Between 1964 and 1965, Malcolm X conducted a series of nationally televised interviews, providing detailed accounts of his investigation into Muhammad's misconduct. He corroborated the allegations with evidence and confirmed Muhammad's admission to multiple instances of child rape. Shockingly, Malcolm X revealed that 7 of the 8 girls involved had become pregnant as a result of these encounters. Additionally, he disclosed an assassination attempt on his life, discovered through an explosive device planted in his car, and detailed the death threats he received in response to his expose of Elijah Muhammad. Part 5. The Departure from the Nation of Islam. March 8, 1964, marked a pivotal moment as Malcolm X publicly severed ties with the Nation of Islam. Despite maintaining his Muslim identity, he believed the organization had reached its limits due to its dogmatic doctrines. Malcolm X announced plans to establish a black nationalist group aimed at raising the political consciousness of African Americans. He expressed a newfound willingness to collaborate with other civil rights leaders, a prospect previously hindered by Elijah Muhammad. Part 6. His activity after leaving the Nation of Islam. Following his departure, Malcolm X founded the Muslim Mosque Inc. (MMI), focusing on religious matters, and the Organization of Afro-American Unity, a secular entity advocating Pan-Africanism. On March 26, 1964, he briefly met Martin Luther King Jr. for the first and only time, coinciding with their attendance at the Senate debate on the Civil Rights Bill in Washington, D.C. In April, Malcolm X delivered a seminal speech titled, "The Ballot or the Bullet," urging African Americans to utilize their voting rights wisely. However, he cautioned that if the government continued to obstruct their path to full equality, resorting to arms might become necessary. In the aftermath of his departure from the Nation of Islam, Malcolm X encountered Sunni Muslims who encouraged him to explore their faith. Embracing their teachings, he soon converted to Sunni Islam. Finally, Part 7. The Funeral of Malcolm X. The public viewing, held from February 23 to 26 at Unity Funeral Home in Harlem, drew an estimated 14,000 to 30,000 mourners. To accommodate the overflow crowd for the February 27th funeral, loudspeakers were installed outside Harlem's Faith Temple of the Church of God in Christ, which had a capacity of 1,000 seats. The service was broadcast live by a local television station. Malcolm X was laid to rest at Ferncliff Cemetery in Hartsdale, New York. In a poignant gesture of solidarity, friends joined together to complete the burial themselves, taking up the shovels of the grave diggers. Actor and activist Ruby Dee, along with Juanita Poitier, wife of Sidney Poitier, founded the Committee of Concerned Mothers. Their mission was to raise funds for a home for Malcolm X's family and to support his children's education, ensuring that his legacy would continue to be honored and remembered. That wraps up our video for today. We hope you got it this far. To help our channel in a small way, it would be greatly appreciated if you can hit the like button and consider subscribing to our channel. If you would like us to make more videos like this in the future, just type yes in the comments section below. Many thanks for watching. Best of luck to you in your own journey, and we hope to see you again in the next video.